right. Hello, and welcome to the Spacejumper podcast. My name is Jared, and I am your host. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Michael Artis. I ran across you on social media, aka Artisma.
The old socials.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ran across you on social media, and you were doing some really cool stuff. You know, I didn't think that you were local until I saw something that I'm used to seeing over in Buffalo Bayou, and I'm like, whoa, what is this guy doing? And you were actually asking people if you could paint their portrait. So can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that?
For free, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm an artist. I am in Houston. I put the skyline actually in the video on purpose because I want people in Houston to know that, hey, this is Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just go around painting people for free because I honestly got tired of asking and having, it sounds weird, having peers and friends like give me money for art. Like honestly, I feel like art should be free as a whole. And then like, I feel like it's more of an exchange type deal rather than something that people should pay for. I know that's going to get a lot of hate, but yeah.
Well, I saw your work, and you do amazing work. I mean, you have, is that right that you have a piece that 50 Cent had also purchased from you?
Yes, I have a piece owned by 50 Cent. Tech Nine, I don't know if you know who he is. He's like a Kansas City rapper. Bol, he's a basketball player.
Wow. Yeah, man, your art is incredible. It's very abstract and just like a way that looks like you're literally pulling out and painting with your heart. You know, it's really amazing. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into art?
Okay, yeah. Honestly, that's kind of really what I wanted to bring up to you because like a lot of people don't know what they want to do with their lives, or if they do, they're too scared to make that jump. And that's kind of how my whole story goes. So I was in college, on my last semester, of course, the old COVID story, but it was during COVID. Yeah. And I was just working on my work and thinking like, I just can't see myself doing this because I interned at a clinic. I was studying psychology. I wanted to be a psychiatric nurse practitioner. Oh, and wow. I would go to a clinic and it was just dull, and I honestly just felt dead walking in that space every day. So I decided during that time, I was like, I'm just gonna hop back into art a little bit and just play around again. Yeah. Everyone knew me as an artist. My last name is Artis, Artis, and everyone calls me Artist the Artist.
Yeah,
so
just
I
add
was
the
like,
T.
Yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, I jumped back into art. Just to play around, and then I just started getting commissions, and I was like, okay, maybe I could test this out. And then 2 months later, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna quit my job and go for it.
Wow.
That's a really simplistic way to put the story, but there's a lot that goes behind my decisions and how things went about.
Right. So, in your style of art, what would you call that? Would you call it abstract almost, or abstract realism almost? I don't know.
I guess it's like it's kind of like it's just really colorful portraiture. I would say that's how I describe it because I use a lot of inspiration from butterflies. Obviously, butterflies are colorful, so I kind of incorporate that into my artwork, and it is pretty abstract though.
Yeah, it definitely is. But it has a layer of realism in it, and I think that's what people love, or at least that's speaking from my personal opinions on viewing your stuff. I saw it and I'm like, whoa, like I mean it's awesome. It's really cool. And
Thank you.
And I had another artist on here. Her name was Muka, and she also does abstract art, and her like specialty is kind of like abstract, but almost this like cowgirl style way of drawing. And what she was telling me is there's obviously an art to going from a empty canvas to a finished product. So yeah, you definitely execute that well, and it's very impressive, because not everybody could paint,
Yeah.
and I've tried to paint myself, and it looks far from what you have, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's art or interpretation of art is different. But I'm curious to know what platform you found the video on. And
Instagram. Yeah. I
were
was
you
scrolling
just
through Instagram Reels.
through Reels?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, I gotta chat with this guy.
Which video did you watch?
It was the one of the skyline where you walked up and there was somebody sitting on the bench and you were like, can I paint your portrait for free? And the final product was.
Was it the one of the younger guy? Was it a male or female?
Yeah, it was the younger guy that was kind of struggling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and I actually want to tell that story a little bit.
Okay.
So I was going around asking people for portraits. Of course, I get like for every yes, I probably get 10 no's.
Yeah.
So I was going around asking people, and then when I finished one portrait, this news anchor came to talk to me, and he was sitting next to this guy who was in the portrait. But this news anchor started talking to me for like 30 minutes, and just about what I was doing, and then I just see this guy next to him, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask him next. I just kept that mental note. And then by the time we got done with our conversation, he gave me, okay, hold on, let me slow down.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I asked the guy, his name's Have. I asked him if he would like a portrait painting. And he said, sure. I knew there was something about him that I couldn't understand. Like he could have been homeless or he might have had some sort of mental issue because before I even asked him, he was like kind of talking to himself and making loud noises. But I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get to know this guy and see what's going on.
Sure.
So I talked to him, and he was, in fact, somewhat homeless. He didn't say he was homeless, but he said something along those lines. He's something along those lines of homeless. And, that video resonated with so many people, honestly. Yeah. And it spread throughout Houston like a wildfire to where childhood friends of Jave's have contacted me. His brother, his sister found me. And honestly, we're still trying to find him because I have $1,000 I'm trying to give him because we raised $1,000 for him after that video spread around. And
wow.
Yeah, I'm still looking for him. He's either at Buffalo Bayou or some other park around town. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we absolutely need to find Have. It honestly, $1,000 would change his life probably, you know?
At least a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like gonna change his life to where he's living
lavishly
average
or anything.
or even average but it's gonna help for a little bit. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Anything helps. You know, people in that situation, food, clothing, you know, anything is great. So yeah, if anybody, you know, check out Michael's page. Yeah. If anybody knows Have, then and anybody knows his location, reach out to Michael. But man, that's amazing. What you do is so awesome, and I can imagine that Have is just one of many other stories that you get to hear about.
Yeah.
You know, so what actually drove you into doing these portraits? I mean, how did that start?
Yeah, so during the beginning of my journey, I was doing commissions only. And here, let's step back a little more.
Sure.
So before COVID, like this was around 2018, I had a podcast in Kansas City.
What?
Yeah, it was called Cooped Up Podcast. It's still on YouTube. There's probably like 30 episodes or whatever, but it was me and my friend Jason. We had this podcast together.
That's a perfect name.
Yeah.
Cooped Up. Is that you said that was during COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Or it was before and then during, but we called it Cooped Up because we were all sitting on this little couch. We was all
That's
cooped
awesome.
up. Yeah. So we had just had people all over the city, and then we actually gained like a good citywide, or like people around the city knew who we were in like the art scene, the music scene, and everything. So from then, that was like when I was in college, and then by the last semester, I was like, honestly, I'm an artist. I need to try this. And then I ended up not doing the podcast. I said, Jason, I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry, bro. I just don't have the time.
Right. So
then when I did art, then I started doing like content creation to kind of promote my artwork. Right. So honestly, now from when I started doing those videos, I was just trying to do something new. I was tired of doing all these commissions, and I was like, I'm just gonna create content, see if I could provide my art for free while I could talk to people, get out the house, get out the studio, and actually, spread my knowledge for other people if they need it, or I could learn from people, hear other people's stories. So
Sure.
it was mostly like getting out the studio, because an artist is just cooped up in the studio all day, and providing something for the community, providing some sort of value.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Dude, he loves, and the thing is, I usually take him on runs in the morning, but we did not go on a run today. And so he's like jumping out of his skin. But he's a funny little guy. He's just turned a year and a half. Wow. And he's a mess, man. I wasn't sure if I was going to get him fixed or anything, but just this week he started trying to hump guests' legs.
Oh God.
And I was like, okay, well, that's probably not good. So, but yeah, he's a good dog. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body, but yeah, we'll
he's living lavish. That's
yeah, he is. Yeah, he's living life, man. But so back to this. You said that you were in the podcast / music scene. Were you making music also, or what?
So, okay, so I was inspired by this podcast I was inspired by several podcasts, but one was called No Jumper, and it was by Adam 22. I don't watch it anymore, but at the time it was like a hit podcast, and so I would interview musicians, like models, things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And just basically any artist or anyone creative we try to get on the podcast. But that ended pretty fast. But my point in everything was like I kind of joined everything that I like to do together: the podcasting, the art, and the content creation, and just made it all into one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the content that you're creating now is really cool, man, and it's very important for people in general to be able to kind of go out in public and things like that, and kind of dive deeper into into conversations instead of just like, hey, how you doing, and keep walking. It seems like what you're doing is you're getting to know these people, and how long does it take you to paint somebody's portrait?
Okay, so these I try to keep it under 20 minutes.
Okay.
And that's probably the most challenging part of the whole video, because I had to paint them and try to hold the conversation with, like, in this situation, it's like this. It's like there's a distraction. I'm painting's the distraction, and I'm trying to keep the conversation going. And
right.
it's just so hard to do sometimes, to the point where it's like, I'm trying to figure that part out. I need to hone in on that part so I could really get my art quality up on the videos. But I mean, they're still good for 20 minutes, but
absolutely,
I just want to kick it up a notch.
And I could see where it would be difficult to be able to try to crunch 20 minutes of footage and content into 60 seconds, and I'm sure the conversations, you get to really understand who these people are and where they come from, and yeah, that's tough, man. If it just I was making a video yesterday, and it was it's like I said, it's tough to crunch a lot of info into a small clip,
Yeah.
So I think, you as an artist, you're like, oh, well, I need to progress. But me as just like a bystander, it's like, man, he's doing some really cool stuff. So yeah, man, keep it up. And I saw recently you were at an IG creators venue. What can you talk about that? What was that about?
Yeah, so Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, all these platforms really want creators to keep going, like, hard on their own specific platforms. So each platform throws events like this, and they'll send out an email and invite creators to come and learn about the platform, meet other creators, and kind of just have a fun time, free food and drinks, and just mingle. And that's kind of what that was. That was like I almost think they were trying to promote WhatsApp in that event, but
No,
because they
probably.
also have WhatsApp now, and
Oh.
that's like another platform that they kind of introduced to us, and we're like, I think I'm good on that.
Yeah. Just another app to have to deal with and manage.
But I'm curious to know what started you podcasting.
Well. Thank you. Yeah, you caught me with the question. I wasn't actually expecting that, but yeah, no. What got me to start a podcast was, for years and years, I could not figure out what I wanted. I got my undergraduate in biology, got my master's in biology. My idea was to go into medical school, but once I got over here, I work at MD Anderson now, and I do a lot of
Got over here from where?
I think that's also a great question. From little town China, Texas. I mean, it's literally in the middle of nowhere, right outside of Beaumont. So it's only about an hour and a half out of Houston. But yeah, no, I thought I was going to go to medical school, and I was kind of like you. I started getting into this realm of working Monday through Friday and stepping through the door and kind of feeling that, like, oh man, like this is good. It's great, and I'm paying bills and things are okay. But I wasn't happy with just working all day, coming home, going to sleep, waking up and doing it again. It takes a toll on you, especially for somebody who has a desire to create, whatever that may be. And so that kind of led me into the idea of like, oh, well, I need to do something. And, probably a year and a half ago now, my dad had passed away. And right before yeah, it's okay. But right before he passed away, I was like, I am going, because he wanted me to be a doctor. He wanted me to be in the medical field. He was really proud of the fact that I was going. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to be the best doctor I could be. And when we looked at each other, I felt like he knew in his eyes, like, that I was just feeding bullshit, to him and myself. And that kind of stuck with me. And so since that day, I wanted to not only, be true to myself, but be true to my goals and ambitions, and also my dad. So, so that led me to start collecting pieces, my microphone, my arms, my soundboard, everything I bought month by month by month. And over the past year, I've finally collected everything to get it going. And as far as what this podcast is, so I'm pretty essentially jumping spaces in a sense where each guest is different, kind of like what you were doing. And that's important to me because like I said, I couldn't figure out what I wanted. And the fact is, there's so much cool stuff out there, and there's so many routes that you can go as a person that I felt like I was cheating myself by choosing a route because I didn't know all my options. I didn't know the possibilities that were out there. And having a platform like this, I get to talk to cool people that are doing things, that are doing really cool stuff, and that have also that creative mindset, in a sense where they want to be true to themselves also. And so here we are, and and we're about a month, maybe 5 weeks in now. This will be episode 15.
And that's so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool. And it's sad. It's a sad but a true testament that when people go through something so hard in their life, like you losing your father, some form of growth always comes out of it. And I almost see this podcast as your form of growth, and like you showcasing your growth. So I think that's an amazing thing. And I honestly personally resonated with your story too, because before I was doing art, I was working as a valet like for, just restaurants. And
Was this in Houston?
This was in Kansas City, Missouri. So this is where I'm from, Kansas City, Missouri. And I was working as a valet at casinos, restaurants, high-end bars.
The grime, man.
And every day I would just see a wealthy person drive up, and I'm like, I can't do that valeting. And like I don't like doing this, standing outside in the freezing cold, opening car doors for people as they kind of just shoo me off and drive off after that. So, or in the burning heat too, like running miles every day.
Right.
So like that's the time I started my podcast. So first thing I started my podcast because I kind of thought that art couldn't make any money. So I was like, okay, what else can I do? I like watching No Jumper. I'll start a podcast. I started a podcast, and I thought it was fun. Like me and my friend Jason were doing this podcast. People were recognizing us, and then I loved it. I still love it. Obviously, I'm still talking to people to this day. But this one guest changed my life forever. And
wow.
I was like studying. So at the time I was doing nursing. I changed my major 4 times. Doesn't matter the majors. At this time I was in nursing. And then the guest was like, do you really want to do that? And then I was like, yeah, like, so first I would do nursing and then I'll become a psychiatric nurse practitioner. He's like, something in me, like I see something in you that's saying that's not true. This guy's name is Sky. And I'm still cool with him to this day. But he's like, yeah. He's like, something, this doesn't seem like you're telling me the truth. Like, do you really want to do that? Like, during this podcast, I heard you talk about art. I heard you talk about that. And the way you were talking about art was just like, you were upbeat. And then you're talking about nursing and you're like, yeah, so I'm going to go through this route. He's like, so is that really what you want to do? And I'm like, during the podcast, you could watch me have a revelation.
Wow.
You could watch me be like, think about it and like sit there and be like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, and then that moment is what kind of flicked the switch in my brain. Like, my last semester of college, I was like, I can't do this. That's what made me pick up the paintbrush. And when I was valeting, I was saving up as much money as I possibly could. Like, if I would go out somewhere, I wouldn't spend more than $5. I was hoarding my money, saving up so I can freelance, and try my art career. And like I hustled myself down to the bone. And when I was doing the art, I was working 80 hours a week, sleeping 5 hours a day for like a solid 3 months, just like pushing paintings out. And during my first 3 months, I made 40 paintings. Like, that's how hard I was working during that time. Wow. So, it comes to testament to, like, going through. I didn't even say what I was going through. So my mom passed away when I was in 17. So my senior year of high school, and she always supported my artwork and wanted me to be an artist. But when she passed, I couldn't paint at all. Like, it took me till that podcast, I just couldn't do it. Like, every time I tried to paint something, I just couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
And yeah, so after that 4 years, and he had that conversation with me, I was like, you know what? That was almost like the spirit of my mom saying, hey, like, what are you doing? You don't like what you're doing. Get yourself on the canvas and start painting. And then, like, I couldn't be happy with how my life turned out just from doing what I love.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. How honestly, I also resonated with you when spirituality is a real thing, man, and we are free spirits in a body, and even after death of the body, the spirit still lives, and it's the weirdest thing, because things happen as they should.
Yeah.
And, of course, things, some days are going to be dark. Some days will be great. But at the end of the day, life is such an amazing journey. And it's such a beautiful process of growth and maturing in a sense of, progressing through life. And dude, it's very, very awesome. And it's very awesome to see the progress that you've made, because
Thank you.
I mean, like I said, your art is amazing, man. Like it's very cool. I love colorful stuff. I love everything about it. And so yeah, like I said, I scrolled your profile and I was like, man, I gotta chat with this guy. So again, thank you for coming
Yeah, I
today.
appreciate
So,
it. Yeah.
But
I love podcasts
yeah.
in general. Like that's why I was so amazed by your setup here. I was like, man, oh wow, this is a real set. Oh, these are real microphones.
Yeah, well, I
This
appreciate
is
that.
Michael Jackson's Thriller microphone.
I'm telling you, yeah. That's he only recorded on the best. So yeah. But and you know, I was looking at different mics and I was looking at different setups, and I started out initially. I bought the DJI clip-on, the clip-on mics. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll go around and start, I'll do a little podcast with those. And then I started using them, and I was like, man, I better dive in it. I better dive in with the full in-house setup. And so, yeah, man, like I said, I pieced it together, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. No, and of course, I had my guy from Austin come out and do the mural. He put a bunch of little Easter eggs in there. You as an artist would appreciate it. But of course, the rockets, and it says Scrooston right there. And
my favorite part is the pinky up on the coffee.
Yeah, we fancy. Yeah. But man, what brought you to Houston?
Ooh, okay. So in Kansas City is a city of, I think it's 500,000 people. So it's way smaller than Houston. I love Kansas City, by the way. Like it's not similar to Houston, but like we're both barbecue cities, But so I wanted to move to a big city. I just, after being an artist at the time, I was like, I need to move to the big city. So I was like, okay, I'll move to LA. Looked at LA rent prices. Changed my mind.
Yeah. All right. Real fast.
So then I was like, New York. I looked at New York rent prices, and for the quality you get,
yeah, those are brutal.
Yeah, and
man.
the size. And then I was like, I can't even paint in the living room.
Yeah.
So then I looked at Miami, also very expensive. If you step foot outside in Miami, you're spending $200 without even blinking yet. So then I was like, okay, let me just look up the biggest cities in America. So Houston was on the list, and rent prices in comparison were good. Of course, in Kansas City, the rent's probably like half the price of Houston.
So everything feels like
Houston is better quality.
Yeah.
Everything here is better quality than what you would get in Kansas City. It's more updated. In Kansas City, everything's older. So I was like, okay, I live with my girlfriend. So I was like, let's try it. Let's hop out there and try it.
Yeah.
So it's been over 2 years now that I've lived out here. I really like it. I love the food, love the people, love the racial demographic. I love everything about Houston. Yeah. But she wants to move somewhere else because she doesn't like it as much as I do.
Okay, not a big fan of Houston. How come?
I think she wants to live somewhere prettier.
Okay.
I guess that's the best way to put it.
The thing about Houston, it's part of, I guess Southeast Texas. It's just flat, I mean, of course, Houston is, I love Houston. Houston's amazing. I love Texas in general, but just in general, it's flat, and there's not a lot of scenery, if you want to see, woods, you have to go to, Memorial Park or Buffalo Bayou. Whereas, in places like, in like Washington State or Colorado, you see these mountain ranges and trees, and you have this outstanding selection of wildlife, as far as animals, plants. I mean, it's crazy, but I think she may be onto something in a sense where traveling is good. I love to travel. Mm-hmm. I may not always live in Houston, but I love Houston, and I can appreciate the variety of everything, and so I've been to Utah. Utah's awesome.
Thing about Houston is it just has like any type of food you want, they have it. but it's amazing. Or
Yes.
I mean, it's here, but it's amazing. Anything you want to do, there's always something going on. If you want to listen to music somewhere, I guarantee you right now you can find somewhere to listen to some live music or just anything you want to do. There's always something to do. That's my favorite part. And in Kansas City, it's not like that. If there's anything to do, then you know who's running the event. You know, like where it is. You're like, oh, I already know how to get there. In Houston, I'm just like always looking at my GPS, trying to figure out where to go. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite spot in Houston, like as far as food wise?
Oh yeah, I love Rosie Cannonball.
Oh my God, I have heard great things about that.
Yeah. Their reverse happy hour is insane.
Man, you and your girlfriend like to go out and have beverages?
Yeah.
Have you been to Better Luck Tomorrow?
Yes,
Dude,
I love their avocado margarita.
Yeah. I don't think I've tried the avocado, but
good.
yeah, they have a good paloma and some other things. Yeah.
Something with a giant pineapple in it. I forgot what it was, but they have their drinks. Yeah, those are my favorite as well. But Rosie Cannonball is more for the pizza. You get like the classic Italian pizza in the pizza oven. And then they have a reverse happy hour. It's only $10 for a whole pizza.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man! When is
cacao
there
and pepe? That's what the pizza's called. It's like it's so good. And I don't even like basic cheese pizza, but it's like a Italian version with a white sauce. It's really good.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that's yeah. Well, you just set my plans for the night. Yeah.
And then barbecue. Of course, there's Truth Barbecue. It's expensive though.
It is expensive. Yeah. Their beef rib though is amazing.
I haven't tried one beef rib being here. I've only tried pork.
Oh no, the beef rib. I mean, it's this big slab of meat. I mean, it's just ridiculous, falling off the bone. But yeah, it's very good. It's a very good addition to the plate. Me, I'm a big boy. I like to eat. I slice up. They have some really good jalapeno sausage there.
Oh yeah, I've had that too.
Have you ever had Killen's barbecue?
No, not yet. And it was really close to where I used to live too.
Right,
and I never tried it.
I never tried it either, and it's pretty close to the studio here, and they did a collaboration with Trill Burger recently. Yeah, and so
that's a strange collaboration.
Yeah, because Trill Burger was doing the smash burgers, and then they were taking Killen's brisket and putting the brisket on there.
That's too Texas for
and
me. That's a little too Texas for me. I can't. Brisket on. I can only do the beef patty. I love steak smash burgers.
Oh, I love smash burgers.
That's why
you've been to Burger Bodega.
Yes, I've been to Burger Bodega, Trill Burger. Bun Slut's good too.
Okay, I've never been there.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a smash burger guy.
Oh, dude, I love smash burgers. Man, I'm trying to think. I think you named all the ones that I've been to. Oh, there's a place right across the street called FM Kitchen. They have good smash burgers. It's not Burger Bodega level, but it's a great smash burger if you're there to drink some Blue Moon and eat some fries and the smash burgers go hard. So yeah, shout out FM Kitchen. They always hook me up. So
also for desserts, Tiny's Milk and Cookies.
I heard that was amazing, dude. I almost brought some cookies home to some family members that were asking about that place. So what is it like a
it's like, I don't know, their cookies are just amazing. They're the best cookies I've ever had in my life. I'll say that proudly because I've tried a lot. I'm a dessert connoisseur.
Do you like crumble cookie?
I've never tried crumble, but I hear too many mixed reviews. I think it's overhyped.
Yeah.
If I'm hearing people say it's not good, or it's crumbly sometimes or undercooked tasting other times, I'm good.
Okay.
But Tiny's Milk and Cookies, their ice cream's also good. They have a good cookie dough ice cream. Their cookies are good. Strawberry ice cream's good. Real strawberries.
Oh my God. Speaking of ice cream, I'm so glad we're talking about food. I love food. So there's a place. It's like a food truck right down the road, and it's called, oh my God, tip of the tongue. Cheaters Creamery. Oh my God, dude, Cheaters Creamery.
I've never tried it.
It's the bomb. They'll probably be open when you head out today.
Man, I mean, don't tell me that. I'm trying to stay away from sweets right now.
Bro, like it goes so hard. You could get like a waffle cone, and they have a cinnamon churro flavor. Dude,
I mean, hear this.
it's probably it's like top 5 for sure.
Oh god.
And then they have a Cookie Monster flavor, which is like a blue ice cream with a bunch of cookie dough and stuff in it. Dude, it's
I'm not sure
it's
I
high
could do
quality.
the blue ice cream.
It's actually really good. I thought the
Okay.
same thing. You know, sometimes the blue has like a kind of a bitter taste to it, but not this ice cream. It's like, I mean, it's top notch. Yeah. So
The last dessert.
Yeah.
Dessert. Okay. I have to tell you about this. Okay, so there's in HEB. One time I just saw this
shout out to HEB, by the way. I love
ginormous
HEB.
cinnamon roll. And it was like no joke, it was like this big, like that big of cinnamon roll. So I was like, I have to get that. Cinnamon rolls were like my favorite.
This
thing.
is at HEB?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I bring it home and I look closer and it says it's a vegan cinnamon roll. And I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't eat it. No offense to the vegans. But then I popped it in the microwave, warmed it up.
Oh,
And this
man.
was the best cinnamon roll I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, I've probably eaten 5 of them.
Oh my god!
Within
This
the
is
past 6
you could
months.
find these at HEB. You may have to send me a photo of this.
Yeah.
Is this like?
Oh,
is
it's
it,
called Sinful Bakery, and it's like a
Sinful.
local bakery, and they only do vegan goods. And I haven't been in store, but so delicious.
Yeah. See, the reason I was asking is because I wasn't sure if HEB was baking them, but it's sinful because their baguettes are good, man. HEB's bakery baguettes. Oh
Yeah.
man, they go hard.
I've never tried them.
They're good. They're good. Yeah. If you're making like a sandwich, if you like, let's say you and your girlfriend go to the park, y'all are having like a little park day, and to bring like some snacks, dude, make like a ham sandwich out of those little baguettes. Oh my god. Another one is Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has some good baguettes. Yeah.
I've been going to Trader Joe's since.
I love Trader Joe's.
Yeah. I could honestly talk about food all day.
I know. No, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's really sealed my love for my air fryer. You know, because they have all these specialized frozen packs of different meals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they have like coconut shrimp and things like that. Dude, I'll throw some in that air fryer and I'm off. I'm off to the races.
So I have a question.
Okay.
For any air fryer connoisseur, why don't you just use the oven? What's the difference between an air fryer and the oven?
It's different. It's not the same. For one, an argument against it would be, you know, if I put a piece of salmon into the air fryer, it'll have to cook for about 10 minutes, you know, so it's not fast. But the reason that I would use an air fryer over an oven is because it really crisps the outside of whatever I'm cooking. So for example, like I could cook a slab of salmon in the oven and it comes out kind of like almost this like wet outer layer of like moisture of the salmon. I don't know. I like it. You know, it's good. But I put it in the air fryer and it just kind of like it crisps the outside, but it also retains the moisture for the salmon. And so you could get a fork and you could scrape the outside layer of the salmon. It has that scrape.
Okay.
But you cut into it and it just slices like butter, man. Yeah. Anyways, I love an air fryer, but but yeah, you could really crisp the outside of whatever you want. But it's also good for like you can't reheat fried foods in the oven as well as you can an air fryer. So yeah,
you know that's a big one because I'll get fries as leftovers and then bring them home and there's just like a weird starchy taste. Like, of course there's a starch, but there's a weird taste that goes with them.
Yeah. And you can't put them in the microwave.
I was hoping this conversation would convince me that I don't need an air fryer, but I don't think it's taking me there.
No, man, I bought my air fryer a ring, man. We're engaged now. Like I said, baby, look, all you got to do is cook. I'll clean. I'll do everything. So I take care of her. She takes care of crisping my food.
You know how in college they say you gain a freshman 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same when you move to Houston.
Yeah. It'd be the same when you order an air fryer too. You get that air fryer 15.
Yeah, when I moved to Houston, I was like 172 pounds. Like I was like, it was more lean. I was really lean.
Right.
But then now I'm like nearing 200 and I'm like, dang, it's been almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That quick.
Have you been introduced to Tex-Mex?
I don't like Tex-Mex.
What? Like fajitas? You don't like fajitas?
Like what type of fajita?
Like beef fajitas. Like, have you been to El Tiempo or Papacitos?
I think I've been to El Tiempo.
Oh man, yeah.
Wait, Tex-Mex. Like, so I like fajitas.
Yeah, yeah. Tex-Mex is in a sense like everything. Honestly, everything around here is Tex-Mex. Like, any Mexican food in the area is Tex-Mex. Very few are like authentic Mexican restaurants, and I don't think, honestly, I don't even think that I've been to an authentic Mexican restaurant. But yeah, it's Tex-Mex will do it to you if you wanna if you need to gain some weight for any specific reason. Yeah, just hit some Tex-Mex, some beef fajitas. You could get my thing is I like beef fajitas. I'll add a little bacon wrapped shrimp on there.
Oh,
I know
God.
Papacitos, they have a plate that does beef fajitas, bacon wrapped shrimp kisses is what they call it, and then they also have a baked. Oh man, now it's like chicken, but it's not. It's gonna come to me in a minute. But yeah, it's a bird of some sort, and it's very good. And not to dive in too deep, but their butter is
Their
fantastic.
butter? Oh God.
Their melted butter is
detailed.
fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of food, man. My mouth's watering just thinking about it.
Well, I guess I could provide some more value to a viewer by, I think a big thing about like being an artist full time and like, or doing anything you love full time, you just gotta understand that like there are ups and downs to everything. Like me moving to Houston, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Like I said before, I saved up a lot of money when I was being a valet, and I saved up around $10,000 before I quit my job. And then,
wow.
yeah, once I did that, then I was like, okay, I can't let my money fall below $10,000. And that drive and that was like, okay, I need to get to work. I need to make sure I wake up and make some money. I need to make sure I make X amount a week. And even then, I wasn't living in like the best situation. I wasn't living in like a nice apartment like this. I was living in like a dingy apartment with a roommate, and then like we were paying like $10.50 a month. So split that each. It was like $500 a month. And like I was like, okay, I had to make sure I make $500 for rent, at least like a little bit for food, as long as I could eat every day. And then like I was like set on each individual thing. And then I moved to Houston, and everything was just so much more expensive, and it forced me to readjust like my thought of the dollar. Like first I was like, I need to do this to survive. And then now I'm like, I need to do this to expand and keep going. So how can I do this and then make this much versus doing what I was doing before? So before I was doing all these paintings, and then once I moved to Houston, I was like, you know what, I'm doing all this content. Let's see what I could do with content creation. So once I did that, I started partnering with more brands and talking to different people, and then like that's when I started collaborating with like Reddit or Bay, Starburst, and like just being out here, like pushing myself out here with like, at the time, I'll be open, I had $14,000 in my bank account. I pushed myself out here, and it forced me, like seeing my bank account drop below the 10,000 for the first time, it forced me to be like, okay, what can I do to make this next dollar? So that's another reason why I love Houston. It's like it forced me to want to be like the people in River Oaks, or like the people driving the nice cars. There's just like a different vibe that people give off here. Like, and there's a lot more business owners here too. That
a lot more opportunity too. You know, like every corner there's another option of line of work. You know, and that's what's really cool.
And when I moved out here, I was scared because I was like, okay, I'm paying triple what I paid in rent in Kansas City. So that means I had to make triple. And then also I'm living with my girlfriend. So like, I got to figure out what she's going to pay for, but like, I don't want her to pay too much too, because Well, at the time, she didn't even have a job, so I was doing everything on my own. So I was like, okay, I'm scared right now, and that fear was almost what drove me to learn more and prosper even more than before. Because when I gave that painting to 50 Cent, I was still broke. When I got a painting to Bobo, when I got a painting, like I was still broke. People wouldn't know that though. They're like, oh, that's that artist who's with 50 Cent and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm broke. Like I'm not anything right now.
Right.
So yeah, Houston definitely forced me to I don't want to say make money, but it's like learn how to find avenues.
Right. Expand. Yeah.
Yeah, expand. And the number one thing to do that is providing value. That's value. And that's why it's like, I want to provide more value.
Right.
So, yeah, like figuring out different ways you can provide value is what will attract finances towards you, honestly.
Right. Right. So you were telling me that you are involved with Reddit and things like that. What can you talk more about that? Like what does that entail?
Yeah, so now not so much because a lot of things going on. But when I first started was a little bit after I moved here. It was like 6 months after I moved here, I got my first call from them. And they found me from the very beginning of my art journey, from when I was in the dingy apartment, painting in the corner of my room. I got a call from this company. Man, I forgot the name of it. Oh, Q Calendar. It's called Q Calendar. And this was when I was just starting art, just starting creating content online to promote myself. And they're like, hey, we saw your Instagram or your TikTok. And at the time I had 14,000 followers on TikTok.
Right.
So he's like, can I pay you $600 a month? I don't think I signed an NDA. $600 a month to post 5 times a week on our calendar app.
Right.
I was like, okay, $600 a month, that'll pay rent. Why not?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So I did it. And then once I did that, I was like smooth sailing, and I was doing commissions on the side. It was so easy to post 5 times on their app a month. But I felt, me personally, I knew I wasn't creating any value, but maybe I was for them in some way. Like, and I think I was.
Sure.
So this same guy contacts me. So at the time, it's 2 years later. Same guy, never talked to him for 2 years. He's like, hey, Michael, would you be interested in like doing this thing with Reddit? They're making avatars like collectible, and an artist will design avatars and people can buy them and it'll go straight to you. Reddit will take a percentage or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm interested in checking it out. Like, I don't know what this opportunity is going to be. And he's like, okay, cool. So I get a partnership with Reddit doing this. There's like me, 30 other artists. And like we create this whole community on Reddit. Anyone in the world can buy these. So like there's people in China, Russia who like have my artwork inside their Reddit avatar. And that was one thing that like really exponentially pushed my career forward, because so many eyes were on my artwork after that moment. And it was all from the $600 a month I was getting from this guy whose app got bought out by Reddit. And that's why I said maybe I was providing value. So because Reddit probably thought people were using the app because they were paying people to use it. I don't know. But like forever, I am grateful to that guy. Because
sure.
For one, in the beginning of my journey, he was paying basically my rent. The ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In the beginning of the journey, he was paying my rent, probably unknowingly. But he's like, and then he provided me this opportunity that expanded my name globally. So it was just a really cool coincidence. Yeah.
Let me. It turned off. I'm hoping that. Let me see. Let me make sure I still have power.
If it's still rolling, I'm going to tell the storm story.
It is still rolling. We're rolling.
Okay, so I was supposed to do this podcast. I was supposed to go on Spacejumper podcast last week or a week and a half ago. And this huge... First I go in the garage, get in my car. I'm about to head here. I immediately get an alert. it says tornado. I think it said watch, tornado watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a nice, like, it doesn't look bad outside. And my
Exactly.
girlfriend immediately comes to the garage. She's like, I don't think you should go. I don't think you should. I was like, you're worrying too much. I checked the weather app. It said the wind is maximum 20 miles an hour. I was like, I'll be fine. So I head on the highway, and I'm already halfway there. I'm so bad with highways, but I'm on the highway that's right next to downtown. And immediately a rush of black, like I'm messaging you. And I'm like, I'm coming, blah, blah, blah. Immediately I see a rush of black. And then that's when I was like, I'm probably going to head back. So I was about to turn around and I couldn't because I was on the highway. And the rush of black came in and all the rain just started falling down.
You were in the car? Oh my God.
And I was like, no, legitimately, I was like, if I'm going to, like, I could die right now. And that's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, I don't want to die. I don't want to get hit by a tornado.
Oh my God.
It all just starts coming down. It immediately turns black outside. And it's like 5 or it's 6. It was before 5, right? It was around 6:30.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't have been dark outside.
Exactly.
It was black outside. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? So cars stop, drive slow. I couldn't even see. I could only see the red lights on the back of the cars. And I'm like driving around them. And my gym's nearby. I'm not going to say my gym. But I go to a gym near the highway. So I was like, I'm just going to go there. I go down there, and I have branches hitting my windows. Like just a bunch of, like my window got cracked.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes. A bunch of stuff was hitting my window. And I go to the gym. And there's like a ramp to the parking garage. And I'm like, okay, I could just park in the parking garage. It was closed. So I'm just like sitting in this tunnel. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know if I should go inside for safety. I'm kind of like below elevation. So if there's a tornado that goes by, I'll be fine. And then I eventually, like all the water was just, I couldn't even see in my car. So I was like, I'm just going to run inside real quick. I got out, ran like 200 meters inside, and I'm like drenched, and everyone's like, you were out there? And I was like, yeah, I was out there. That was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then my girlfriend was home, so I was like, oh man, now she was freaking out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, now I got to make sure she's okay. So I'm calling her, and then I end up driving home during the storm because I didn't know how long it was going to last. And I hit like 2 trees. Like in the road, they were like in the road, big trees. Like it was bad. It was a bad
my
storm.
God. Well, first off, I just want to
No,
apologize.
that's not your fault.
Yeah,
I should have just listened to my girlfriend and be like,
I feel almost partially responsible because here's the thing. So I was outside when we got the alert, and I'm like,
you were outside?
Yeah. Me and Larry, we were outside walking, and we got the alert on our phone. And it said, like, tornado alert, like, take shelter. And I was like, I looked around, and the weather looked fine. I mean, it looked okay.
It was like this.
And I was like, and that's when you and I were communicating. And so I was like, if you're in, I'm still in. It looks clear on my side. And in my mind, I was thinking, I feel like that's just probably a generic message that they sent out because weather's going to get rough. Yeah. Dude, I got in the elevator, came up here.
Oh, you got in the elevator.
I know, and I barely made it. I got up here. By the time I looked outside, it was dark.
Yeah.
I started to message you, hey.
I didn't get any message you sent. I didn't get it until the next day.
Oh my God, dude! I was like, I tried calling you, and I wanted to be like, hey, cancel that. Like, I mean, it was only 5 minutes after.
Messages,
I was like,
all
man,
the messages you sent. I was like,
because I was scared a little bit myself because I was looking out the window here, and it looked bad. I mean, I looked down and there were stop signs flying. I mean, it was ridiculous.
It was terrible. It was the most, like, any situation in my life I've been in, this was the one I was like, I might die tonight. I might die right now on this highway.
And it was that scary, man.
Yeah.
It was that scary. I'm glad that you didn't die. That would have been rough, man. It was sketchy. And did you see downtown? Did you see the destruction that happened downtown?
Like it was like almost sad to see because I know that 4 people died from that storm, and I was almost surprised that it wasn't more because how bad what I saw was, and you said stop signs were flying around. I saw, like in my neighborhood, houses are destroyed. Like a whole front part of a house fell off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then of course trees. I saw you sent me a picture of trees all on the street.
Yeah, covering the whole street, man. And I mean, people were stuck in their neighborhood because they couldn't get out of out of their little their area. I mean, it was crazy, man.
And I didn't have internet connection or electricity for about a week. I might get internet back during this podcast. Like I still don't have internet at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's crazy. Lucky enough, I held power, and it went out for. Well, here's the thing. I have a video on my phone. I may pull it up and show you, and then put the video also on the screen for the viewers to see. Actually, let me go ahead and do that. And I'll tell you, so I ran into I was looking off the balcony here, and there were sparks flying, transformers blowing up. You can't really like see great because it's so hectic outside, but you could see as soon as that transformer lights up, man, it lights up the whole area. But look, this is just another stop sign. I mean, stop signs folded over, in a sense where, I mean, look at the metal. The metal is just bent. I mean, by sheer force.
The wind broke the metal.
Yes.
If that's not outstanding, if that's not a scary storm to be in, like I told my aunt and my stepmom the story, and my family, and I don't think they realized the depth of how bad that storm was.
Yeah, you see it lighting up the sky.
Oh my God!
I would turn the volume up, but I'm cussing like a sailor.
It's just ridiculous. Holy shit. That was a transformer for sure. Saw it light up. Oh shit.
I wish I could have shown some video. I couldn't even drive. I couldn't see. I wanted to film so bad, but I couldn't see where I was going.
My
and
God.
You couldn't even seen what I was filming.
Yeah, look, that's paused. Transformers just blowing up. I mean, it's lighting up the whole sky. I'll definitely link it on here now that we're chatting about it. But yeah, man, the storm, it was scary. It was really scary. And I was like, man, I have to get a hold of him to tell him not to come. But I'm sorry that you got out there and your girlfriend wasn't mad at you or me.
I don't blame you at all.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Caitlin.
Caitlin, I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
I was being stubborn a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. Like,
well, I mean, in our defense, it looked okay.
Yeah,
you know?
it looked great. It looked like it does now. Like it was like there's nothing that's gonna happen that's gonna do anything bad. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the sky turns black 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I mean it broke loose for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I've lived in Texas for my whole life, and I've never seen anything like that. I've never had to deal with a tornado, so that's why I was like, man, this is BS.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Tornado Alley. Kansas City, Missouri is Tornado Alley, and I've never seen a tornado in my life.
Wow.
And I mean, I didn't technically see, I didn't see anything here. I know one touchdown, a tiny one, but those winds were that was a tornado, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah. Downtown, all the glass that broke, it's just all over downtown. That's a tornado event.
Yeah, it really is. I have a meteorologist coming on here on Saturday. Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna chat more about it. But yeah, he knows all the details and all the stuff about all the technical lingo in his field. So it'll be interesting to chat with him about it. You know,
that'd be super cool.
So I guess back to the art. You know, and how when you're painting these portraits for people, how are they reacting when you finally give them the finished product? I mean, it has to be pretty meaningful, you know?
Yeah, so the concept of the video is like going up to a stranger and then ending up having a very vulnerable conversation with a stranger and then giving them a painting for free. So it's kind of like an experience that you'll never get. So I wanted to create that. So the first thing is like when I talk to them, I want to learn about like their story, and like a brief synopsis of how they got to where they are in 20 minutes. And when I edit these videos, I kind of just put their main story. Of course, we chit chat and have like conversation like, oh, what do you like to eat? Like stuff like that. But yeah, they basically tell me their story. And then by the end, it's like an encapsulation of their story all into the painting and like that whole experience. And I feel like this is why people react so well to it. It's like, I just told my story while he painted me. I'll remember this painting as like my story. This is me, my story. So that's why I get reactions of like people either getting teary-eyed or like they'll laugh sometimes because they're like, oh, they've never been drawn before. So and some people will just smile and stare at it for a long time. Those are my favorite ones when they just smile and they're just like looking at it, because it's almost like they're like, wow, look how far I've come. And like this, I told them about everything where I started and this is where I am now. So that's kind of like, I love doing these. I love doing these. And kind of what you saw was kind of a trial run, because I did so many formats of it and I was just seeing what worked, what didn't. I tried with a videographer, without a videographer. So I'm about to get some more good ones very soon.
Are you filming this with your phone?
So I have Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Oh, yeah, the Metas are nice.
So the first ones I did with a videographer, he would just film everything. I didn't have to worry about it. I like doing that, but of course it's expensive.
Right.
And then I did, so by myself, I kind of have the setup like this. So I have a camera, breaking the fourth wall, a camera basically like that. And then I have my Ray-Ban Meta. So every once in a while, I'll just like click it, paint, and then look at them. So like it's like multiple angles.
Yeah.
So that's much more work, but I still like it because it's kind of like a first person look, and
sure,
you can get the painting in there too.
Yeah. Are you editing this through like through TikTok, or are you going through like an actual editing software?
Yeah, CapCut.
CapCut.
And
okay,
if you want to like a good, I'm not even sponsored by them or anything, but if you want a good editing software that's good on the go, a lot of people use like Premiere and stuff. I'm not knowledgeable on it, but CapCut has like all these AI features, auto captions. So you don't have to type in every single word that's being said in the video. You could literally just hit auto caption from voiceover or auto caption from video, and it'll just make all the captions, and you could edit whatever you want out of the captions. You change the fonts, colors of it all, of some words if you wanted to. So that just makes it super convenient. And then the editing process takes longer than the portrait. The editing process, like one video, the longest one is taking me like 4 hours to edit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're grinding.
Yeah. So I need to work on editing faster. But other than that, like I love doing this. And once I hone in on like the whole process, smooth sailing for me, honestly.
So you said that you weren't sponsored by them, but do you have any sponsors right now?
So
Is that something you wanna chat about?
I don't have any sponsors. I do a lot of partnerships though.
Yeah, what is the difference?
So a sponsor is kind of like when someone will continuously send you stuff from their brand or something like that. Like they'll just continually just send you stuff just so you wear it or drink it or eat whatever they have. A partnership is like a one-time thing or maybe 1 to 3 time thing where like they partner on a video. So they're like basically paying me to either mention them, showcase their product a little bit, add some stuff about their product inside the video. Right. So that's what makes these free paintings even more worth it for me, because that's a monetizable way to utilize the platform that I have. So like Instagram, TikTok, they'll ask if I could post a 30-second video on TikTok. I'll just somehow mention the product in the video or something like that. Yeah.
What kind of partnerships are you getting these days?
Yeah, the most recent ones were Puma.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, that was a really cool one, and Dove Men Plus Care.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta always have some deodorant.
Yeah.
You know? Like
And honestly, partnerships and stuff, like learning about that whole process is valuable to any business. Cause like I said, back when I was just starting out and I had the Q Calendar partnership, that was paying for my rent at the time. So you don't even have to be huge to have a partnership. Even I don't know if you're familiar with anything. You can hit up this company and be like, hey, I give my guests your water. I'm a podcast. It'd be cool if we could do something. You could hit up, I don't know, whatever else up here, but like you could just
Santa Cruz shredders.
Yeah, or find platforms that you could just sign up for, and they could send them through email. Like they'll just automatically send you emails of partnerships. It's always something to look into.
Yeah,
But,
it definitely is.
Yeah, so I've heard of this. Oh man, this is so bad. There's a this God. Why do I not know their names? It was a podcast, but these two guys were like, yeah, we were just starting out our podcast, and we'd listen to what like partnerships would come on the radio and see like what the radio was promoting, and then we'd hit them up and be like, hey, could we do like a short mini segment to promote whatever you want to promote on our podcast? And then they'd pay them to like just have mini segments, and that was like when they were just starting out, so they didn't even have any following or anything. So
Wow.
yeah, partnerships are huge.
Hey, I just hit 114 followers on Instagram, baby. Yeah.
There you go. It's only the start.
So, you were talking about, you said that you only had it at the time of that initial partnership, I believe, where they had reached out. You said that you had 14,000 followers on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you have now?
I think it's like 280,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
And
man.
the thing is, I gave up on TikTok for a little bit just so I could focus on Instagram and kind of learn that some more. Because I know the steps to go viral on TikTok. It's just Instagram is such a new thing and it's ever changing. But also what I was making on TikTok, the type of content I was making, wasn't self-fulfilling because it sounds so bad, egotistical. But what I was doing on TikTok was, you know how people like critique food and like food influencers? I was doing that for art. So I was like saying, oh, I love the value change. I wonder why you added pink on this and blah, blah, blah. But I just didn't like how much it got love, but it also got hate too. And it was hard for me to handle that. And then also over time, it just felt inauthentic to create that type of content. But I would get videos with like 8 million views, 7 million views, hundreds of thousands of views doing that. But it just didn't fulfill me. But so this type of content I'm making now is the most attention-grabbing content that I've created so far. Like
And it's
people are
authentic.
actually
It's
and
raw,
it's
you know?
authentic,
Yeah.
and I like doing it, and I make people happy doing it. I raise money for a homeless guy doing it, so it's like something that's actually productive to me, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, man, you're doing some really awesome stuff. And where did you learn all that? Is this like something that you picked up on the go, or what did you have like a mentor that kind of?
No, I wish. So I would say honestly though, kind of. So my dad is a photographer. He now owns a restaurant and an event space. So growing up, I saw him go from a little room of a photography studio all the way to a 3,000 square foot photography studio / event space. So like I would always help him clean. I would go to events with him and work these events with him. And honestly, I feel like that was what got the business mindset in me. But as far as like the content creation, art, creativity side, that kind of came from just while I was valeting, I did the overnight shift. So I would sit there for hours and hours, sometimes with no cars. So I would always search YouTube, like how to start a business. What are the best businesses to start with $3,000, $5,000? How can I utilize stocks early? How do I start investing in stocks? I would invest and lose money and learn from it. So I was just like, how can I get myself out this situation? All the time. That was the only thing that was on my mind. And
You still have your portfolio?
yes.
Okay. Any insight you could give on that? I run my portfolio too, and I take pride in my percentages.
Yeah.
Each year. So
So I'm not the safest. I'm not like doing day trades or anything.
Right.
I learned my lesson on that. I'm not doing stuff like that. I'll do some swing trades. Like if I see Apple or Tesla is at an all-time low in a year and a half and 2 years, I'm gonna buy it. You know,
Right, yeah.
or if I see, like just recently, I bought an Apple when it was at a low that it hasn't been in for a long time, so I bought into it. But honestly, I'm just doing long-term holds. And
I think that's the smartest thing to do. And you mentioned Apple, you mentioned Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, also like B shares is probably the most affordable for people. But yeah, these long-term businesses. The key is you want to invest in good quality companies, and
companies that you like,
right, and also good quality. So
Yeah.
in a sense that if they were gonna go bankrupt tomorrow, that you would still get your money back. When the weed stocks were up real high, I made a big mistake and I bought them. I bought some of them and I'll never see that money again. It's a bad business structure on not necessarily bad products or bad use.
It was just hype.
It was hype, yeah. And it was a bad business decision on my part. But companies like Apple and Tesla, I look at that and I'm like, Microsoft.
Yeah.
I look at them and I'm like, where do they cap off? Like, where do they go from here? Actually, I think I just lost. Video. Yeah. Give me. I'll go ahead and finish this thought, and then we'll keep going. But yeah, these companies they won't stop growing. Their technology and electronics will never stop growing, evolving. Yeah, that's a great word for it. But yeah, let me figure out what's going on here real quick. They get these old, messed up vinyls, and they cut them out, and they put this on the back, and make them the coasters. So I saw them. I have
That's cool.
I have some MJ. I have some Cypress Hill, Run DMC. Yeah, she has a really good selection of coasters. So yeah, I had to have them. I was like, this is gonna be for my podcast studio. She was like, oh, that's so cool. But yeah, shout out Rhonda. But anyways, yeah, we unfortunately we lost video for about 4 to 5 minutes. I couldn't really tell, but we're back up and running now.
Yeah, we were talking about stocks and stuff. So some people don't care, but I mean, there's a good audience for for stocks and stuff.
What app are you using?
Robinhood.
Yeah, I use Robinhood too. I know a lot of people hate, but Robinhood is honestly the shit. I like it.
And they have, like, if you just have money sitting in your account, you have 5%. What is it? 5%. Is it APR? Is it annually? Okay, so every month, like if you just have money just sitting there, not in a stock, you still get 5% growth on it per year,
Right.
which is not like it's better than sitting in a bank account, in a checking account. Like just having 5% growth on your cash, it's a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
And
Robinhood's
that's what
amazing.
really drew me into it. I was like, okay, like just having 5% growth is cool. I'll take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love my Robinhood account. I have Robinhood Gold, and it's really all that I use. And you could see, how many people are purchasing, and how many people have set buys in, and where like what price they're buying the stocks at. So they give a really detailed list. And I know a lot of people use like Ameritrade and some other ones.
Fidelity.
Yeah, Fidelity.
Yeah, I used to use Fidelity, and I actually transferred over. I know.
Don't you get charged for Fidelity to make purchases and things like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like $25 per $100.
And Robinhood basically paid me to transfer over to them, and I'm like, why not?
Yeah, and they give you like 2 free stocks or something when you start up.
I'm not. It's a lot of people don't like it because they did the whole halt the market during the crypto boom and stuff like that. But I'm not. That's not like my focus right now.
Right.
I have my crypto. I do crypto.
Were you hanging out during the GME event? The GameStop?
No,
Oh,
I was actually completely out the loop during the time. I was just learning about crypto, and then I also heard that GameStop was pop. Oh, you mean this year, or do you mean like?
Well, I know it just recently popped up again,
Yeah.
but a couple years ago, I guess
Yeah.
during COVID, where they just severely shorted the whole system. So that was interesting.
And that would be the only reason I would say watch out for Robinhood. But if you don't really care about that and you're not trying to do short-term stuff, then Robinhood's a good one.
Yeah, I know. I was disappointed because they did at that point halt trading, which didn't seem right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't
make any sense actually.
They put a halt on purchases of AMC and GME as well.
Yeah, that makes zero sense.
Yeah, and I think they went through lawsuits and all kinds of.
That should be illegal.
That's. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's manipulation, really.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's crazy, man. I use Robinhood. I wasn't happy at how they addressed it, but I guess it is what it is. I'm not too sure if other platforms halted trading, but yeah, that was an interesting time to be alive. Did you see that they made a Netflix movie about it?
Oh yeah, I see. I watched
Roaring
it.
Kitty, yeah.
I watched it. That was actually it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how they put it out there, but yeah, and then obviously Reddit was big. Reddit was not a publicly traded company at the time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until a couple years after they became they dropped their IPO. But yeah, man, life is crazy. It's crazy. You never know what lies ahead on the journey, and your journey specifically has been a really amazing one. Where do you hope to move in the future with this? You just
so honestly, I'm just getting started. I see a bunch of different growth paths that I could take, but what I've learned is I'll just let it take me that direction as it happens. I really want to consistently do two a week, at least 2 people a week, and high quality, of course. And I want the painting to be great. I just need to figure out the editing part, but like 2 a week. Of course, get partnerships, sponsorships in there. So to have that settled down, I eventually would like to have like like if I ever have an opportunity to meet someone large, like in the future, like 50 Cent would have been cool, Bobo would have been cool. Like large guests like that, to kind of do it more in a podcast style like this would be kind of cool to do that.
Right.
And just, my mind goes everywhere.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's just whatever it grows to. None of these are promises, but the only promise is like 2 a week, 2 of these videos a week. Yeah.
Man,
For
that's
now.
so cool. Yeah. So is this a full-time gig? Is this what it is right now? Wow.
Yeah,
Dude, that's amazing.
The partnerships, I'm telling you, if you're ever worried about anything, look into partnerships. Like it's like a great cushion to have for whatever business you're in. And also of course I sell prints online and all my original pieces and artwork, but like partnerships is like for a painting, it'll take me a month or a week to a month to make a painting. For a video, I could crank it out in a day. And it's basically the effort put in is like so minuscule versus all this effort, all this mental energy put into a painting. and then versus a video, and I could get paid the same amount for each. So
Man,
it's
very
like,
cool.
yeah, it's like this is why I'm like more focused on the content now, more so than the art. But I still, of course, am incorporating art in everything. Like
Sure,
art
yeah.
is what I do, and then the content is just a huge bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, very cool. Well, when you're videoing this, I watched a guy recently, and he had this DJI gimbal. You know, this thing that you hook your phone up to, and it really just kind of transitions everything perfectly as far as like when you're moving around and stuff, and it reduces any shake that you have with your hand. But have you looked into those?
I so after the first videos, I had a videographer shoot, and when I tell you, shout out to Vito, by the way. I
Yeah, shout
appreciate
out
you
Vito.
for shooting for me. He's the videographer. I don't know if you're familiar with Jadeon. He's a YouTuber, but he's his videographer.
Ah,
But when I looked over this content, it was so shaky and like everything was moving. So this is why it took me 4 hours to edit, because I had to make sure each video was still like any clip I used, and sometimes I couldn't even put voice on for the video. I had to kind of transition to me while they were talking, just because the video was so shaky. So I'm definitely I'm working with a videographer soon, and yeah, that's
Okay.
gonna definitely happen. So I'm gonna make sure that still my camera has built-in stability. So if anything, we could use my camera, but
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I
was-
don't know how much these I think it's called a gimbal. I
Yeah.
think. But
they can get up there. But
Man.
there's some affordable ones.
yeah. Well, I don't have one myself. I guess I really don't need one, but you know, I like things. So.
Yeah.
But
Like a camera moving side to side.
yeah,
across
yeah, just,
here.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of creative things to do out there, and I know one thing. It's not even creative at all, but there. If you look over there, right above that coffee machine, there's these mounts for the Keurig cups. Dude, I was so happy to get.
snap.
Yeah, I was so happy to get that mounted on the bottom of the cabinet, just because it's real clean. You know, it's not cluttering the countertop or anything. It's just kind of like hidden up there. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, that's it. That's exactly what I need. But anyways, Michael, well, what advice would you give anybody getting started in art?
Oof. So I love to tell people that art and business are two completely different avenues. For art, it's more so, time. Like you can take your time doing things. You can take your time making a piece. You put a lot of emotion and mental input into this thing that you're creating, and then for business, it's like quick consistency, repetition, and it's just hard to put them both together. So it just depends on what type of art you're wanting to create and what type of artist you're wanting to be. If you want money, then focus on the business side. If you want to be that artist who could be struggling for the rest of their life but loves what they're doing, then I would say hone into the art side. For the longest time, it took me so long to battle between which one I would want to do. So I would like switch. I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to be a starving artist now. I'm going to just make paintings and sell them. And then I would switch to the business side, and I'm like, okay, like these brand deals are good. Like I could actually just make simple designs or like make a quick painting in like an hour, and then make a brand video connected to it. So now I'm like, I would say I'm still like fluctuating in that area. But once for any artist out there who's wanting to make money, I would say just know the difference. Know the difference if you want to be an artist or a businessman, because it's different. It's
Right.
You can't. I don't want to say you can't do both, but if you're alone, you can't do both.
Well, sir, you seem to have bridged those two concepts a lot better than most people. you've kind of connected the two in a sense where this is only a seed in the ground, and you're gonna sprout up and grow like no other. I mean, the knowledge that you have is going to take you a very long ways. So yeah, keep on doing what you're doing, brother, and I'll keep an eye out on your progress. Real quick, where can people find you at?
On every single social platform, it's at Michael Artisma, Artisma.
All right, folks. Well, Michael, hey, thanks for coming out, brother.
Thanks for having me.